Hello, guys, and welcome. Behind the Bunker, weekly paintball show, episode 502, podcast 382. Thank you guys for tuning in. It is another awesome week of paintball in the world, and we'll get to some stuff that's happened and will happen in paintball over the next little while. My name is Todd Ansich. Thank you for joining me. I have some other people that are going to join us tonight, like Josh Zubizabrikis. He's from, he's from wherever he's from.
Yeah, from the wrong side of the tracks.
Let's
go with that.
Yeah. And then Garvin Sharma from TerraTech Industries.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. They haven't kicked me off yet. Thank you for joining us. It's Behind the Bunker, Monday night, 8:00-something p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We appreciate you guys hopping in. Make sure you like us, share us, and interact on the chat because it's going to be a great show. I promise you that.
Yeah, and Joe Kimson from Flaggers Paintball.
And greetings and thanks for tuning into beautiful Behind the Bunker. And we are getting ready for show number 501, I believe. And if you're in Indiana and you happen to stop by French Lick, you can check out their paintball field and any other things. We're going to talk to the French Lick Chamber of Commerce to find out what other events are happening in their fair town.
Yeah. All right, looking in the chat, I see George Hay, Ryan Sexton, Tracy Santos, Jared, Brooke Hunt, Emery Davis. A lot of you guys are joining in real quick. And Colin Cooper over in YouTube land. And a bunch of other guys I see are signing in as well. So thank you guys for tuning in. And whatever you can do to help out the show if you can. If you're watching us on YouTube, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, heck, even comment. If you're over on Facebook, give us a share. Yeah, absolutely. Paintball Extravaganza, ladies and gentlemen. Every year we go down to Paintball Extravaganza and we broadcast live. Well, this year it's not going to happen, but it will be happening virtually. So if you guys tune into us on Wednesday, that's 2 days from now at 8 o'clock, we're going to have a paintball showcase of some of the vendors there who've decided to send in some videos of new products and what they have fresh for this season. So I wouldn't count I wouldn't hold your breath and say, wow, can't wait to see all the hundreds and hundreds of new products, ladies and gentlemen. Keep in mind, we're in the middle of a pandemic and kind of hard to do research and development for new paintball products when you can't even be in the office and work with people. So there are some neat new things coming out, but it's not going to be like it was every year where you walked away going, wow, did you see so-and-so had this and so-and-so had that? Still interesting, still some neat stuff. And maybe you'll find something that you guys are going to want to buy this season. So stay tuned for that. That's happening in 2 days from now. We're also going to have B. Paxson from Destiny and Mike Peverall on the show as well. So make sure you guys stay tuned for that. Tonight on tonight's show, we're going to be asking you guys, we're going to be watching you in the chat shortly, not right away, but shortly. What video game or board game would you like to see a scenario game made after? A lot of you guys have posted up on social media, but we're going to watch in the live chat and see what you guys come up with as well. Some pretty good suggestions. Paintball.media, guys, if you haven't checked it out, their latest magazine online is available. Head on over to anywhere Paintball.media has representation, and you'll see their links there. Great article about Behind the Bunker as well, going back with some history of that. Did you guys get a chance to read it, by the way?
I did, Skip.
I did. It was good. It was well done.
Okay. Kind of insulted you guys, but...
Yeah, not enough Gavin content, but, maybe the next episode.
That's true. Actually, I had 3 paragraphs on Gavin alone, and I think it got cut. So
cutting room floor. That's my name.
That's right. Remember, I did write it. So, and speaking of Paintball.media, guys, if you're part of their Patreon, head on over there. They just released the first episode of a 13-episode season of iconic paintball teams. If you ever want to know how Destiny and Heat and any of these old school teams started and how that all came about, you should definitely check it out. Did you guys get a chance to watch episode 1?
I did. It was great, and I was looking for some honorable mention teams coming up.
And I'm batting 1,000, my friend. I watched that too. Keep asking these questions. I'm winning. Yeah, I did watch it. I thought it was really good. The narration sucked a bit.
It did a little bit. The episode 14, John's thinking of adding a 14th one. He doesn't know this yet, but it's on the Behind the Bunkerinos fledgling team that started in D6 and has worked its way up to D6. So yeah, stay tuned for that one. MVPS this past weekend, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know if you happen to catch any of their feeds. They done had a windstorm come through. I don't even think they were expecting bad weather, but a windstorm blew through, and this was the result of it. And lots of pictures if you go check them out. I feel so bad. I feel bad even showing you this. Matt, maybe we can roll that video as well. But here's where they called the game. You guys can see in the top right corner that the poles have already been knocked over, and the mesh is on its side, and the bunkers are starting to get blown around right now. This happened to us at Flag Raiders before. It's happened to us numerous of times. This is not a position you want to be in as a field owner either. I mean, that's going to set the field owner back probably $10,000 or $15,000 just to replace mesh and posts and poles and bunkers and
stuff.
Oh my God!
Do you remember that one windstorm we had? Like the poles didn't get bent and the mesh didn't get ripped, but one bunker flew down to the Kitchener Nissan. It was so windy.
Yeah,
it was crazy.
So I remember a storm rolled in once, and it wasn't a tournament day. We were just practicing, and there was 2 fields going, and where the fields in between the fields where the pits were. There's a big transport trailer where we used to keep all our bunkers, and I was standing there to take shelter from the storm that just rolled in, and this gust of wind blew, and the mesh ripped off the top cable all the way down 150 feet length of the field, just like you would rip a piece of toilet paper, like how it would perforate off a roll, and it happened within seconds, and my heart just sank. Like, that's days worth of work. You know what I mean? That was just heart-wrenching. So for the owners of the field and the operators of that league, hopefully you guys are patient with them, because it's not their fault that happened, and it is what it is.
If I'm wrong, Todd, but the event that you're happening to talk about at Flag Raiders when your heart sank, is that also the one that broke your arm when you were repairing it?
Yeah, that was 2 days after the event, for Pete's sake. That one was certainly my fault.
So on top of like all the COVID and shutdowns and impact on business, clearly this promoter, it wasn't negligence, right?
No.
This happened. This was just a fluke, Mother Nature, right? So, my heart really breaks, and it goes out to the producers and all the staff there, because there's nothing you can do other than watch and just have your heart sink, and just it is a true tragedy in terms of a great tournament that gets sidetracked or derailed because of weather.
The people that I feel bad for is the grounds crew. Like, Joe and I went to Chicago, and they had a PSP that was happening simultaneous to Living Legends, and they had a storm that rolled through. A tornado actually had rolled through, not right there, but far enough away that it caused havoc to the field, and they had a pile of just like quick shades. There was probably 100 quick shades just in a pile with the tent tops off, just the metal carnage. And I don't remember how many fields. They maybe probably had 4 or 5 fields set up, and they were all just destroyed. And all I saw was the staff of the league working like worker ants, trying to just get something back together to have several fields so that people can play. And they did eventually run the event, but that storm happened on like Wednesday night, I think, or Thursday night, like just before the tournament was really getting underway. So kudos to them for surviving, and I feel so bad. But
it doesn't sound like anybody was injured, which is the main thing.
No, I don't think so. And I think they end up ending the tournament a little bit sooner, and I think they're going to probably rerun some of the games or figure it out. I'm not sure. I shouldn't say, but from what I saw, they didn't finish the day. So, on a lighter side, did you guys catch this? This is all over social media today. The EMF 100 in Purple Heart.
They're the sport ones. So that's a pretty fine looking piece of paintball awesomeness.
I figured you would enjoy that, Joseph.
Yeah.
I saw that, and that came in my inbox this morning, ding, and I saw the purple accents on that EMF 100, and I felt a little bit of tingling, especially the on-off. Even that would look good. I don't know about the barrel, but
you're really good at turning me on.
Thank you, Gavin.
I have to say, I like the purple, and the blue is super sharp. The yellow, I mean, it's kind of
you know what the yellow reminds me of? The yellow reminds me of a bag-fed carnivore.
Yeah. Yeah. But this is more of a subdue yellow. I mean, I have yet to see, other than the Tipman TMC with the tan there, I have yet to see someone pull off a nice tan. And this isn't tan. This is like a nice yellow. But it's pretty spectacular. I'm not going to lie. I think the yellow right now is my fave. The purple is nice. The blue is nice. But there's something about that yellow.
Do you think Leds has purple or gold or yellow accents on his Austin Mini Cooper that he zooms around in the traffic circles as he follows double-decker school buses around? Do you think that?
Follows a lorry.
Follows the lorry, and he takes his grocery out of the boot.
Something that you guys didn't know is, and maybe I shouldn't say this because Led's maybe told me this in confidence, but you know how here in North America, one of the biggest trends is getting like a van and converting it into like a home for traveling. Do you know Led's bought one of the red 2-story buses and he's making himself a traveling mansion? So yeah, hopefully he'll be able to send some pictures and we'll be able to see his progress.
Once.
Oh, did he? Maybe he's a Top Gear fan and that's... Don't put a waterbed upstairs because when you take those corners, it's not going to end well.
I believe on the episode of Top Gear, it was one of those Zen gardens.
Oh,
sandbox.
Do you think Leds needs a sand garden to keep his anger down, and that's how keeps him focused? Is one of those gardens?
That is possible. Or he could actually just buy a Mini, because I can tell you firsthand, it is impossible to drive one of those without a smile on your face.
Do you think he's listening right now? And you think he's angry right now?
No, this is his Tuesday. Remember, he goes into the office on Tuesday and he listens. So, Leds, yes, I do believe he has a Zen garden. I think he has a lot of anger. His thank you video for the shout out video that he sent in for the 500th episode had a lot of explosions. So
I'm guessing this has something to do with his yin and his yang.
It's all the emails. See, it's all the emails he still gets. People asking for eye covers for their E1s and E2s. I don't have any left.
or finger things.
Finger glove
clips.
Yeah. Oh well, but yeah, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Try to get your order in for one of these hot new colors of the EMF 100.
I like the purple.
Did they only do the three
They
colors?
only did the 3.
Only like
I'm told 5 minutes ago there was no colors, and now only 3.
They're coming out with an olive green one.
Okay, no, I didn't know that, but I for some reason I kind of expected a red.
Red.
Yeah, but
Like
Joe,
when they release markers, there's always kind of
you're right. The red.
like purple, red, gold, yellow, whatever. Like there's usually some type of red, but
is that what's disappointing you this evening?
I like the purple.
well, Gavin, there's a lot to be disappointed about
Other
right
than
now.
flat dark earth, if you could have flat dark earth and purple, that's all you need really in the color spectrum.
Leds, it's all great. Send me one.
Yeah, that being said, Leds, if I had a purple in my gear bag, I wouldn't be upset.
Yeah.
Okay? I'd use it.
Yeah. Can't talk building our bus now.
No, he's shopping for a Mini right now.
Those are really short pants. They look like. Oh, now
So here's an email from Steve Presco. He says, "Oh, masters of all things obscure in paintball, do you know when these JT pants came out?"
Oh, that's casual line, right?
And you can see there is the JT moniker on the side there, and they look like a pair of Carhartts almost, with a little.
Dyed
No,
jeans.
not in the
I have
slightest.
some dyed pants and dyed jeans. I don't know.
And a
what
whole bunch of that
ever
crap,
possessed
like
people.
chinos and stuff. But
Yeah.
so those run at the same time.
Yeah.
I think that's like all part of their cat, and that was a great time. Anyway, that's a slide aside. So what are they asking for the year?
Well, yeah,
Approximately?
and I mean, I'd also like to know what's on the bottom of these pants. Are they for your sock garters or what are they?
No, you can.
Oh, they're
you can cinch
cinchers.
them up. Yeah.
They're cinchers. You're right.
So that would easily be 2005 ish.
Yeah, I would say that material looks like it would be like almost renegade fabric, thick and heavy. Do you know what I mean?
I thought it was like a thick denim, like dungaree material.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, so my aside was that was a really great time in paintball for casual wear. So you had your field gear, and then every corporation had ridiculous amounts of money, and they had massive catalogs of everything, right? So you could wear JT
Socks.
shoes and socks and like
Yeah.
Dye and JT. I think they were the biggest ones on the.
I have dye. You
in
know
the
what?
markets.
I have upstairs in my drawer. I have dye underwear.
Yeah.
They had dye everything, JT everything, so you
I
could
have-
have a
yeah.
full casual,
I've
like
had to
your
dye my
Monday to
underwear,
Friday
too.
stuff.
Oh wait,
I have replacement dye laces that say dye all over them because
Yeah, it's cool. They did a
Yeah.
great job brand. You know what? Dye did a really good job branding from 2000 and probably 2003, 2004 to probably 2009, 2010. They did
I think-
such a fantastic job branding.
so
I think Wells Fargo would disagree with you.
So Wolf Critchlow in the chat says paintball pants aren't baggy anymore.
No, they're skinny jeans, Wolf.
yeah, I can't.
They
even
aren't
wear
baggy, they're my
speedball
brother.
pants
And then-
at the mall anymore.
Yeah, and then Bob Spisser says 2000. He wore them. So
Are
Bob
those yours, Bob?
Bob Spisser. Maybe I'll do a dye fashion show.
Ooh.
Emery Davis says, how do you get a behind the bunker patch? I have a couple left. If you guys do want them, I'm selling them for $10 plus shipping, depending on where you are in the world. So you're maybe $20 if you want a patch shipped to you. Just send me a DM through any of our social media or get me on Facebook. Yeah. So there you go. But yeah, getting back to casual wear, I remember when every catalog had shorts, t-shirts, jackets. JT had the absolute worst rubberized rain jacket. We had them in the store, and after finally getting rid of them after several years, we had to fumigate the store because that smell just lingered. It was that horrible rubber. It's like a same as like your inner tube tire. It was nasty. But
I remember the JT playing shorts, which was like thick.
They were
almost like wearing a tire.
Yeah. I'd say they had thick
Like,
welded
didn't breathe.
seams, but they didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they had everything. They had whatever you wanted to play in, whatever you wanted to hang out in. They had it in the early 2000s. Those were the days.
And think of all the sneakers. Like Warped had a pair. JT, Dye, Exalt,
Who did the was it
Style Supply,
the Fast Times at Ridgemont High?
Spicoli.
No.
Vans.
Was it
Vans.
Was no. But it was a paintball company that did a version of that.
Toasters. I don't
Sure.
know. Joe was
Yes.
yelling out random stuff. I didn't know what we're.
A paintball company did a slip-on version of a shoe.
Like like a Vans FT or Warped. I don't know what the hell.
I don't
I'll
know.
find out.
Yeah.
It's gonna bother me though. I'll do some googling.
Well, whilst you're Googling, we have lots on the show tonight, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to be getting right up next. We're going to go into Joe's From the Vault segment. Then we're going to come back and we're going to be talking about what video or board games would you guys like to see made into a scenario game. We have custom gear, we have mail time, we have Price is Right, we have the after show. We have lots more to get to, guys. So soon as we come back, we'll get right into that.
Hey, it's Joe from Flagger's Paintball here with another segment of From the Vault, where we go back in history, back into the early days of paintball, while players were still using flagging tape, before duct tape was a thing, before team tags was invented, when Roger Weber and George were still little babies. We had the JT armbands. These large, nearly billboard-like objects with Velcro. These were designed in America, assembled in Mexico. These were used for armbands. These were probably the world's largest armbands. But anyway, these were available. I had some Velcro on them. They were stretchy. They were available in a wide array of colors and styles. But this is the JT armband, and you've been watching From the Vault. We'll see you next time. Pew pew.
Hey guys, Ryan McGee reporting live from a very wet French lick. Just letting you guys know we had a great weekend, and just wanted to go ahead and send that for Joe. So you guys have a great show. Thanks.
Anyway, that was my JT armband. Many of the manufacturers back then had their own version of an armband. The JT was by far the thickest. They must have got a deal on elastic wrap and Velcro, because it was twice or almost 3 times the thickness of a Vents armband. But anyway, those predate the team tags. But anyway, that was kind of cool. They had red and they had blue, I have a red one somewhere, but I don't know where it is. I'll locate it. And Ryan, thank you for your video. That was well done.
Yeah.
Josh,
I just learned something very interesting about French Lick, Indiana.
what?
It says here, home of local basketball legend Larry Bird.
Really?
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't. Are you sure?
He was always popular with the ladies.
Then I Wikipedia'd it, and it said Larry Bird was born in West Baldwin Springs, Indiana. So I don't know if it's the same place or
Check
close
your
enough
sources,
to,
damn it.
Yeah, check your source.
You're
before you-
ruining the show.
Yeah.
I'm trying to verify, but
We can only put out
Juju's
10
not-
false facts a show. That's too many. So, ladies and gentlemen, what video game or board game would you like to see made into a scenario game? We're going to watch you guys in the live chat right now. We have both the Facebook and the YouTube chat loaded up. So, you guys post your comments up there. We've had great big games in the past. We've had a Simpsons game, which I thought was fantastic. I know that's not a board game or a video game, but that was one of my favorites. We've done a Star Trek versus Star Wars. That was a great one. So yeah, I'd be curious to see what you guys come up with. And Rob Evans in the live chat does say, "Yep, Larry Bird is from French Lick."
yeah, actually, it's two towns like side by.
Is it? You have it on your. If you could show us your phone again, Josh, so I can.
It's within licking distance.
I'm sure this is looking great on the audio only
No,
podcast.
it looks great. Josh is currently holding up his phone with a picture of the French Lick with the border of the town beside it.
I love how
they're
Josh
like
was so
the
angry
exact
that you
same
had to continue to research and show. Look,
There you go.
I'm not done with
Damn.
this yet.
You're damn right I am.
So
I got a headache and nobody's getting away from me tonight.
So we're watching the live chat. Bob Spisser says he has no clue. George Hay says, "What about Leisure Suit Larry?"
It's a licking distance away.
That was funny. Todd said that.
I said that
Somebody.
like 3 minutes ago. That's okay.
I told you I have a headache.
Leisure Suit Larry. What else do we have? Division. Emery Davis. We had a Division game at our field, and it played out really well. We did an airsoft
Yes,
and
it
a paintball
did, yeah.
version.
Yep.
Dan and Hardy says Duke Nukem, Doom, or Wolfenstein. I had thought about Wolfenstein at the beginning of the show, but how would you do that when it's a first-person shooter game?
And that German side would all get banned from Facebook for wearing uniforms, so you can't do that.
Yeah. Oh, Simpsons Hit and Run was a game.
Offended.
Yeah.
You know, if we could only have one game per season, I'd have a Red Dawn as a winter game, a early summer game would be D-Day, a midsummer's night game would be Black Hawk Down, and then we would end off Black Hawk Down with, a Bridge Too Far or some sort of, sort of SWAT type game.
Yeah.
No Vietnam campaign? I'm
Oh,
surprised, Joseph.
Vietnam game for August. So we'd have to have 5 seasonal games and a Christmas and something like a Die Hard for Christmas.
What about something else from the big screen? Sebastian Meunier says Rochelle, The Journey from Milan to Minsk. I think that would be a good one.
What a glorious game that would be.
And I know, Bob, he says, I said the game clue. Yes, I know. I'm sorry. Matthew Watt says Borderlands and have a molded marker competition. We talked a couple weeks ago about how great it used to be when people got into costume, made up their markers to look like that. Yeah. Sorry?
I know our friend Damien Parcells from Louisiana. He has a field there, and he does Fortnite video game.
Well, that's cool.
So you get dropped off, and you got to find your ammo, and you have to find your gear to use. So I think that'd be a neat scenario to play.
Steve Abar on YouTube says Escape from Tarkov. You'll have to fill me in on what that is. And Kevin says Hungry Hungry Hippos. What is Escape from Tarkov? Do you guys know what that is?
I don't know.
I believe that's a game, but I'm not. I'm sorry,
Tarkov
Steve.
Sounds like a place in the Ukraine where the Russian troops are building up on the other side of the border and they're escaping.
On Instagram, JB Schumach says Grand Theft Auto. I've only played that a couple times, but man, that was a great game. Shoots and Ladders says Gazpacho King.
Gazpacho King.
Yeah.
Mike Grizzly Grub says 31 and over versus 30 and younger.
That's a game of attrition. After 3 o'clock, the 30-plus crowd is in the parking lot rehydrating and putting on some Rub A535.
Yeah, but at noon hour, all the under 30 would be doing TikToks and doing selfies. You could take the whole field back. So there you go.
So it could balance out.
And balance out.
Be a good game.
It'd be a good game. Solid game.
And my apologies, Escape from Tarkov is a multiplayer first-person shooter game. I just had to look that up. So, yeah, I guess I needs to get back on the gaming consoles
give
again.
him a hard time for Googling something during the show, too? Or is that just
No.
me?
No, that's just you. You got your pouty pants on tonight, Josh.
I told you I have a headache.
It's cold and the wolves are after him. Bob Spicer says Grand Theft Auto, but Todd is playing the hooker.
Ew.
That's nice.
So you can enjoy Todd's company and then set him on fire afterwards.
The sad thing is he's thinking about this while I believe he's in a hot tub right now watching the show on his Monday Night Ritual.
Oh, I gotta log off.
I think he already has. All right. What do you guys have on your social media pages?
I got a good one from Dave Brooke Reed. It says Sands of Iwo Jima. And Pamela Ewell, I'm sure I said that wrong. So says Big Indian Paintball in Perry, Georgia, I think. GA, is that Georgia? Is getting ready to have their annual Sands of Iwo Jima game. That sounds kind of neat.
Cool.
It does.
Then Dave says, yeah, but I'm from the UK. And then everyone jumps on him for being a limey bastard.
As they should. Yeah. Vietnam games are always an easy one because costumes are easy. Same with World War. I mean, if you do any of the World Wars, people get offended pretty easily. You have to be careful with your costume choices.
We do,
people's
but
butt hurt sucks.
We've been doctoring our uniforms lately and putting tape over the lapels
Insignia
and stuff like that, just to make them more appropriate to the times, but still let you know which team is which.
Yeah.
Although it's historical reenactment, you have to be sort of PC.
Sim City says Carrie Crest. That'd be a good one. Dawn of War.
Zane Smith said Risk, which I think would be an interesting game if you played both off-field and on-field.
Yeah.
So you have to battle for territory.
Yep. John Metcalf says, I would love to see an Operation Raccoon City. Okay, so that's sort of your zombie versus police type of thing.
Cool. Is there it'd be neat if you...
Wolf says my best interview ever was with German Joe and Gavin. Yeah,
I was just about to say, shh, don't mention that. You will Google.
Thanks for tuning in today, Wolf.
Yeah, Shanks.
In Wade.
Yeah.
Top fan of the show, Vicky Brown, says, let's go classic with Candyland.
Yeah.
But here's the bad part. I watched the, what's that movie with Leonardo DiCaprio in it where he plays the guy from Candyland?
Star Wars.
No, I don't think Leo was in Star Wars. I forget what it was called now. I'm having a brain fart.
George Hay came up with a good one, but he'd have to be the general for it. What about Operation? We strap him down to a table, and if you fail, we have to take his kidney out or his funny bone out.
Use a pair of channel
the
locks
stage
to
here.
take
Come on,
his
George
Crocs
needs a new pancreas.
No, that's a great idea, Joe. You know, we strap George Hay down to a table. You try to remove his Crocs, and it's hooked up to a battery. So if you touch a car battery, if you touch the metal, hey, George, hey!
Hey, he just logged off. Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's lots of good games out there. What else do you guys have? Anything else on your sheets? Karens versus retailers, says Jason Diff.
Yeah, that would be Karens versus retailers. Lisa Weber says something about a Survivor-themed game with puzzles and obstacle courses as missions, but I just haven't hammered out the voting and eliminating just yet.
Yeah. Steve says Stratego.
Escape from New York. The Stratego.
Yeah, loved that as a kid.
I don't know.
And
Half-Life,
didn't I see John?
Pandemic.
Does any of you guys have John Jones's comment? He had a good one on your sheets. He wanted Tiddlywinks. Do you guys remember Tiddlywinks? Am I the only one?
I remember that.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Do we have any other before we move on? I'm seeing in the Zane Smith says Pornhub versus fans. That's nice. Zelda. Yeah.
Game's only 2 minutes.
Mad Max.
I got it, Kevin.
Thank you.
Welcome.
All right. Well, why don't we move on, ladies and gentlemen?
Are we going to do our own, or are we just reading?
Well, yeah, I guess I kind of put a couple of my own, but you go, Josh, because we probably didn't go around the horn like we should have.
I'd like to see a Command and Conquer game.
Ah. What about a Red Alert?
GDI versus non.
Red
Or
Alert.
what
would be
about
a good
what?
one. Red Alert.
Yeah,
Yeah.
something like that. I like that.
Yeah, I don't know. We've always tried to come up with good ideas for games, and I want to say all the good ones have been taken, but I'm sure there's lots more out there.
Yeah.
Fifth Element, says Tracy Santos. That would be a sexy scenario.
You
Yeah,
just
yeah.
want to wear that white stripe uniform.
I call dibs on the white outfit.
Whatever it is.
And Matt is saying if there could be a Western event. Not enough Western theme style guns in paintball, unfortunately, but it would be cool. It would be cool. All right. Well, I feel the wheels are falling off our cart here, so why don't we move along here, ladies and gentlemen? We have mail time to get to. We have Custom Corner. We have Prices Right. We have the after show to get to, and lots more. What should we get to first?
Mail time. Mail time. Mail time. Mail time. The mail's here.
So, Gavin, what do you got in the mailbag, my friend? If you don't,
Oh, I
if
didn't
you're not,
realize
yeah, sorry, if you're not
Give
there,
me 30 seconds to realize you're throwing to me. And
Surprise.
I'm
Yeah.
a little ill
if not, I
prepared,
do
but
have
no
one,
worries.
I do have one question as a video or a visual. If you're not ready,
All right, let's do that, and I have the questions loaded
so
up
Jacob
after.
Williams, along with what we're talking about, he says, "What's the biggest or best paintball event y'all have ever been to?" I'm going to say one of the best or one of my favorites is probably the one I talked about where they had Living Legends and correct me if I'm wrong out there, but it's either a PSP or an NPPL event simultaneous. Now that I'm thinking about it, Joe, it might have been an NPPL event.
I think it was an NPPL event, Todd, that we were at where it was. I'm pretty. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, because I remember we ended up playing on the Sunday, and some of the pro guys from the teams that didn't make Sunday were out there on the field slugging paint, and we were up there playing with Nicky Cuba and I don't know who they all were, Joe, if you remember, but we were running up the field with those guys, and it was fun. It was really fun. I want to say Wolf was even at that event. Wolf, you're in the live chat. Do you remember that event?
Yeah,
Was an
he
NPPL?
was. That's where you met the YouTube person. What's her name?
Kitty.
Kitty.
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. What about
Chris
you, Gavin?
Easton's in the chat.
Chris Easton. I wonder where he is now. He was our first intern.
He's in the chat. I
I know
he's in the
that.
chat.
Where is he now? Like, not
Probably in his living room.
He's not looking. He's not missing. He's not looking.
Anyone else want to
tracking
take a stab at this?
All right. So favorite games. Obviously, the large events of Flag Raiders have always been great for me. The battle royales, the Carnage, stuff like that. But for me, what stands out is the very small event with our good friend Ryan Sexton, who was in the chat earlier, with his ASE events, the Trek Wars. I thought that was a brilliant game. It was fun, really laid back, and people went went out of their way to create costumes as well.
Yeah.
A number of people were the red shirt Star Trek people who were disposable, and I love that. So that was a fun event for me. That was it wasn't the biggest, but it was one of the most fun I had.
On that note, I would have liked to have played when William Shatner had his big game at Challenge Park. That would have been a good one to go to. I can't say it was awesome because I wasn't there, but that would have been a good one to go to. Josh, what about you?
Sorry, I was typing in the chat. I completely missed what you're talking
That's good. What's your best event, favorite event you've ever been to?
Yeah, Trek. I'm with Gavin. Trek Wars. That was incredible fun.
Yeah.
And I always enjoy the Paint Fest every year with Flag Raiders.
And I thought for sure you were going to say Super Game. You got to ride in a tank and shoot people. You got to do all kinds of fun things.
What about Water Wars and the Water Czar?
Yeah, Super Game was pretty fun.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it wasn't a bad time or anything, but just for some reason the Trek Wars just, like Gavin said, it wasn't a huge game, but it was wicked fun.
It was wicked fun.
Yeah, and Mr. Sex is in the chat right now too. So yeah, thank you for hosting that, my friend. I believe you have a Trek Wars or sort of the same thing happening soon as well. And I'm going to throw back to Joe what he mentioned, Water Wars. That was a fun game.
That was fun.
That was fun in terms of sourcing costumes again for me, and the off-game points. Negotiating with your grumpy son, who was the water czar.
The water czar.
Who could award you additional water if you were kind, or if if the mood should strike him. So there was a lot of politics that were happening behind the scenes, in addition to, retrieving water on the field, right, in various forms. So
he showed up. He showed up with the full intention of screwing up everybould day.
Yeah, he was angry. Just an angry teenager, so you had to be able to manipulate him. Right?
You'd walk up to him, he'd be reclined in a fold-up lawn chair with his feet up, and would look at you over, like, underneath his eyebrows, and just go, "What?"
Here I am, a grown man, begging a teenage kid for a Dixie cup full of water so I could get extra points. Right?
I remember
you are so handsome.
Yeah.
You are the smartest. Right?
I wish it was just raining that day.
Exactly.
Everything you guys were fighting for was worthless. Yeah. Ryan Sexton says his game is in April 24th to 25th in Kansas, but sorry, Ryan, we can't plug it. We don't do plugs on this show. So there you go, guys. If you want to check out one of his games,
awesome. Yeah,
especially not for
please
games in April that aren't in French Lick.
Yeah.
Honestly, treat yourself. Ryan puts on an amazing show. It's well worth the money, and about the hang, it's just a real great experience. So make sure you check it out.
Yeah.
Rumor has it Ryan's a really nice guy too.
I wouldn't go that far, but
he's a bit of a jackass. But if you can put up with it, his food that he cooks is really good.
True.
Yeah.
But tell him he's a jackass after you've eaten.
Yes. Don't query that
ingredient is the spit that went in Todd's taco.
I just noticed that I just tagged Ryan Sexton and the Brigade program, and the Brigade program has 1,999 people liking it. So why doesn't everybody look for the Brigade program right now on Facebook or Instagram and like it and get him over 2,000 likes?
Absolutely, and you can still be a part of the. We talked about this a couple of shows ago. You can still be a part of the Brigade program, right? And there's still merchandise, and you can still be part of the community as well. Merch, yeah. So make sure you hit that up. As Joe said, check out the Brigade program, and let's bump him over 2,000 likes. And join the ASE's events as well, because you will not be disappointed. I promise you that.
Yeah, for sure. Bobby Doust in the YouTube chat says, "Hey, another idea for a game would be Naked and Afraid." that would be
that's me every night.
That would be George. That would be George Hayes' follow-up generaling position after operation.
I need to call my therapist.
Yeah. Oh well. All right. Do you have any more questions, Gavin?
Yeah, I actually have a couple that I've just picked up on Facebook right now. So the first one comes to us from Jared Skibo, and he wants to know, what are the key components to a great scenario game? What makes a scenario game awful? So what are the pros? What are the cons?
It's a great segue to what we've been talking about.
Yeah, so what makes a great game and what makes an awful game?
And it used to be numbers of people, but it's not the numbers. Like, I've been to some smaller big games that have been some of the funnest games of all.
I think you have to have a willingness for the participants to actually complete the missions, not only a mission, when you're designing a game, a mission, you want to cause firefights. Like physics, every action has a reaction. So, you want the players to embrace the missions and go after the objectives. And by doing that, you should enable both teams to have a firefight. That's sort of what I think. And you try to make it so that they get to see the entire field. So you've got people sort of crisscrossing the field and, going after various objectives on the field. We haven't really done a scenario game, obviously, in the last couple of years because there's been a pandemic. I don't know if you've heard it on the news or not. But it's been hard to do one. So, if the stars align and we have the ability at some point in our lifetime, we will bring back the Phoenix Project, and we'll have a proper scenario again at a location somewhere.
Hey, Wolf in the live chat says one-sided games are just awful. But my question back to you, and I agree with you, is what can you do about that? And I mean, I know some game promoters who will, if the game is landsliding so bad, they will move players or they will put advantages for the team that's losing in order to help that. But other people get upset saying, well, then the general's fixing the game. The Wizards are fixing the game. What's the point then at that point? But everybody just wants to have fun. And I get, like, you're not going to help a losing side win, but then what you're going to do is help them from being demoralized and still have some fun. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, if you're on the red team and the red team's been sucking all day, wouldn't you appreciate a little bit of help? And, like, you see a lot of red guys going home halfway through the afternoon because they're tired of getting their stuff pushed in all day. I mean, where do you argument on, where's the argument on that? I get switching players is maybe difficult. Having mercenaries hired by both sides to help even that out, that makes sense. I get that. But I don't have a problem if I'm playing a game and even if my team is winning and we find that we lose a whole faction to the other side. Sometimes not being on the winning side is fun either, because you're just walking the field looking for firefights and you're bored out of your skull. I'd rather have paintball all day, even if it's being fixed on the other side of it. What do you guys think?
Sure. Yeah. Go ahead, Josh. Sorry.
Well,
you did a lot of talking and I kind of spaced out. So.
No, I agree.
This is why we never ask for your opinion.
Because Josh and I general oftentimes at Flag Raiders, and you will see us quite frequently having a meeting of the generals on the field or off the field. How's it going on your side? How's it going on your side, right? Really talking about how we can make the game flow. Because it's not about domination either, right? It's about really creating a fun experience for everybody. It's everybody's hard-earned dollars that they're there, right? They're not professional soldiers. They're not, nobody's hired to be there, and they're not collecting a paycheck. So we want to make sure people's hard-earned money translates to a great experience. And sometimes that involves consultation. Yeah. Yes, I want to kick Josh's ass every single time I'm on the playing field, but not at the expense of the enjoyment, right? So if that means, taking a break between missions, right, and slowing those down, or not launching a counteroffensive at times, just so that people can regroup. You can brief troops, and then you can then maneuver them or position them in a position where they're able to engage in some battle without being walked over, to get that firefight in. I think that's advantageous for everyone, right? So yes, it's managing the game as well. When you're being a general, you want to win the points, you want to come home with the victory, but at the end of the day, you want to make sure everybody's smiling and high-fiving and hanging out in the compound and enjoying you afterwards at the restaurant for drinks, right? You want everybody to have a great time. Yeah. And as you said, Todd, you don't want people tapping out midday, right? Saying this is the worst experience I've ever had in my life, and leaving their paint in the staging area or taking it with them and just leaving, and that doesn't leave for a target-rich environment. It doesn't leave for a great experience as well, right? So it does take some finesse, and it has to be adapted throughout the course of the day. It's very fluid, right? Yeah. So you have to make sure we're ambassadors,
and
right?
you don't know who's you don't know who's registering what side's going to be the winning side. I mean, Joe and I have watched people register for big games we've hosted in the past, and we're like, oh, the blue side is going to dominate. Like, we should really be helping the red side, and maybe we'll put our scenario team on this team to help them out. But come the day of, no matter what our predictions of, you really don't know. And it's not usually the big teams that make or break them. It's usually like the 5 or 6 kids, and I use this term loosely, but the younger kids who are the ones that run the missions all day that gain all the points, and those are the guys that make a big difference. But the best, I mean, there's also been games where we put nothing into it as far as, changing up the teams, and at the end of the day, it's within like 100 points. We had a couple really close games, and those were, I mean, those don't happen all the time, but those were phenomenal.
Yeah.
So.
And you can when you're dividing the teams up as people book in and they say they're indifferent, you'll as you're booking players, you'll have guys going, I want to be on this team and I want to be on this team, and then you have the undecided ones, or the players that are indifferent. And we used to go, this guy could be with this guy, this guy can go over here, and in the end of it doesn't make any difference, because you've always got those players that are right in the thick of the battle, and you've got the other ones that sort of hang back and lob shots. It's very difficult to divide a team. Then you've got who you think are your hardcore players that are just going to sit around and chit chat all day because paintball's social. So it's very, very difficult.
There is one other effective thing that we've done as field owners too, where we've got a handful of guys that help us out in the morning. They come early, they park cars or register people or help sell paint. And by the afternoon, the game is already going and everybody's under control. And they're guys that are field members. They know the field very well. And you put them on in the afternoon or late morning when they're first arriving. And let's say red team is going downhill. You put these guys out there and they're leaders and they're aggressive players and they're loud and they grab a whole bunch of people and they take them with you. And next thing you know, that red team is now, in a position where they could, start taking a lead. Those couple individuals, there's not a lot of them, but I think at every field there's a handful of players that if you put them on a specific side of the field, they're going to do some damage. But
the one thing that I like about having games at Flaggers is Joe always splits the TFR team, which is the local field team. Yeah. I can't stand it when you go to a big game and the local team is all on one side. Drives me nuts. Drives me absolutely insane. So even split of teams is key to a lot of it.
Yeah, good point. Hey, one thing I want to tell you guys is Planet Eclipse. Did you know that they have more championships, new mechanical markers, new electronic markers, heck, new territory, including the new MagFed division? And we showed you earlier in the program the new awesome colorways with the EMF 100. Get Planet Eclipse, ladies and gentlemen. Take on the world.
When the world's greatest players, photographers, and expected parents need the best coverage, most vivid colors, biggest selection, they pull a tab on an EG product. #PopSmoke.
Thick welded seam, stainless steel hardware, multiple color options makes Air Ups the number one choice for inflatables on and off the field. They are made in America by Brent Davis and his crew. AirUps.com.
Dreams fade. Ruthless Paintball products, color sublimation, and craftsmanship never die. On or off the field, Ruthless keeps you fresh. Use the promo code BTB15 for 15% off your order.
Adapt, create, and win. Exalt is in our blood. Make your game boil. Get Exalt, which is available worldwide.
From the beginning, you stumble down a rocky cliff or waded chest deep through a mosquito-infested bog. Now, whether you're sliding into the snake or running and gunning, GI Sports has the gear for you. Now at the Stormer, Basic, Tactical, and Elite.
DLX Technologies, true industry innovators, guys, with some of the lightest, fastest, and sleekest hardware in paintball. DLX has the power to get you to the podium, and I've been told that's where you want to be, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry to interrupt our discussion about scenario games, but it's important that we tell you about all of our great sponsors. If it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be here right now, so thank you to all of those guys. With the pandemic that's been here for the last year, I know there's been some big games that have happened, but the majority have been canceled or postponed. It feels like such a long time ago since we stepped out at the field and had a big game. Hopefully that'll happen soon, but any more thoughts on what we were talking about, or did you have any more questions, Gavin?
No, I did. Yes. Let me just delay that. I went back to the chat. Sorry. I have to pull it up again. So the last question to us from the mailed bag comes to us from from Christopher Struck. And he wants to know, what's your guys' opinion on player groups like the OPPA? So, community building groups. What are your thoughts?
I don't know what I think about that. I mean, anything to help people get into the sport, great. I suppose.
I think it gives the players, that are looking for like-minded individuals, places to play, teams to join. If they have questions about new products, I think it gives everybody sort of an outlet where you can, put your thoughts and your ideas, and it gets the players together, and it's a centralized location where if you need, paintball participants and even some airsofters are mixed in there. It's a centralized place where you can draw that, and you can unify people there. They've done that for some various events, and some ongoing things in the media. They've pulled players together from across Ontario and joined with other groups. It's an okay thing.
Yeah.
Not specifically the OPPA, which was named in the question, but as Joe said, any organization that gets people together, builds a community, and helps advance the sport is a good thing, right?
Yeah.
So find the community that's going to work for you. Find the associations that's going to work for you. Are they building up the sport? Are they, leveraging some of the numbers to help drive the attendance up at events and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Is it really for the intention of the community? Then I'm all for it, for sure.
And Wolf
so find your community.
Yeah, and Wolf in the live chat says as long as it's positive, those groups are great. And I agree with you. That's why I was hesitant. And the OPPA does a great job, but there are a couple that I've seen that are self-serving, and I didn't want to touch the question because I didn't want to sort of get involved in that. But just be careful with what you're reading. But most player groups are out there to be helpful. So,
and again, you want to find your family. You want to find your community. You want to be able to go to events and have like-minded people, as Joe said, right? So just skim them all and see what works for you, if it does or doesn't. But again, you want to be out there, and if you're a lone wolf, not Wolf Critchlow, and you want to look for other people, the internets, the interwebs are a great place to do so, and just find who you can hang with.
Yeah. Well, during the pandemic, I'm sure he is alone right now, but you guys love paintball, and your friends may not, and they don't want to hear about it. I'm sure you've talked paintball to some of your friends, and they've rolled their eyes. Paintball groups are a great place for you to have those conversations where people are like-minded and want to have those conversations, and we'll answer those questions that you may have that you can't get anywhere else. So yeah, check them out. I'm sure your area has some.
Ryan McGee had a question about Tiger Stripe, and I was trying to type it. There's Vietnam Tiger Stripe, which is common, which you see like in Apocalypse Now and any of the Vietnam reenacting groups, where you've got some black, some green, a little bit of brown, and another green. But then he asked about the all-terrain Tiger Stripe. The Task Force Raiders, that's their team uniform. It's an all-terrain Tiger Stripe, and it has a very similar colorways. It's a Tiger Stripe pattern, but it has very similar colorways to what you'd see in multicam.
Or OCP, same.
An OCP, like the Scorpion, which is the new U.S. Army uniform. It's the same colorways, but it is in a Tiger Stripe pattern. The only company that has the rights to purchase the all-terrain or manufacture the all-terrain Tiger Stripe is True Spec. So Ryan, if you look at the True Spec website, you can check out the all-terrain Tiger Stripe. Or I will send you my all-terrain French poster in all-terrain Tiger Stripe.
And, just as a side, that is my favorite camo of all time.
It is pretty great.
Yes, ATT, for sure.
I still like my olive. Just plain olive.
We know.
I still had my
back
favorite.
To the food talk again?
No,
That's
well,
tasteless.
I do like my olives. I don't have the COVID. No, I found that the olive broke nice, and I don't know. I just liked it. I liked it, except for I didn't like the BT brand combat pants. Remember when BT had their own line of clothing? They had their own sort of tournament pant for scenario guys.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Awful.
But it was like
Yes.
they took a bed sheet put it on top of another one, and then sew directly up on 90-degree angles, and then put a pocket on it. They were just bad, and I apologize for knocking them, but they were nasty. They were nasty. Josh, I see that you've got some custom gear. Why don't we do a handful of those before we get to the end of the program? And ladies and gentlemen, we're going to broadcast on Facebook for the next little while, and then we're going to say goodbye to you and continue to broadcast on YouTube, and also continue to record for our podcast. So if you guys haven't found us on Facebook, if you haven't found us on YouTube, head on over to behindthebunker.com. Our link is right there, or go to YouTube and just put our name in the search there, and you'll see us over there. Yeah. Sorry, Josh. Go ahead, my friend.
Oh, sorry. I was waiting for you to roll the intro for this.
Oh, we don't have one.
Does it? Yeah. Right.
We're on a budget, man. We're in a pandemic.
Well, we'll start the saddest segment of the evening with a marker sent in from Ben Gibbs. He says, "This is from Matt, the producer. It's his favorite marker. It's an 03 Viking. Heavily milled and etched."
Look at that.
There's a couple of photos there.
Sorry, went too far.
Yeah, a couple of photos. Very heavily milled. And then he sent in this beauty here with the Canada. I can't.
So it's an autococker with the Canada flag in the background. Looks like some war bets there, and it says "Lest we forget" with a poppy on it. Brilliant.
Oh, very cool.
Really well done.
Yeah, and next one in, also from Ben Gibbs, stock impulse with some milling.
Oh boy.
And Simone theme shark etching.
Nice.
I like. It's beautiful. Yes. Next one is from Jason Howland. This STO was custom colors now, and NPPL team called Tropical Illusion back in the early 2000s.
Love the clear grips, and I love how you can see through that.
Heard of a couple of dozen bodies being made in this color, but I asked Bud Orr, and he said he only remembers doing 2 or 3 with the matching frame.
Wow.
So that is quite the rare and, let's be honest, beautiful.
It is awesome.
Sure is.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Next one is, he says, my workhorse. Hey. Started with the body and added everything else.
welcome to being an autococker owner.
Yes, and the last one for the evening, also from Jason Howland, who just seems to have a collection of beautiful markers. To my knowledge, the only dust olive vice out there.
Nice.
And I'm curious if he posted his address and when he's not going to be home.
Hey, here's a question for you guys watching at home that own autocockers. So I'm going to go back to this gorgeous one here. Much like my autocockers, I would say more than half of mine are missing the safeties on them, because the little ball bearing or the ball detente would get lodged in there and it would just bust. Any time someone worked on your gun and took the trigger apart, sometimes they lost it. I wonder how many of you guys out there have autocockers with missing safeties on them. Not because you intentionally took them out, just because that's just the way it ended up.
I was going to say all mine are missing as well.
I never thought about that, but you're right. I don't think I have a safety on mine at all.
Yeah, and I mean the safeties would get stuck, and you put lube in them, but there's one little granule of sand in there, and next thing you know, they're not working. And then guys will tap them with a hammer, and then it'll pop the ball bearing out the backside, and then next thing you know, it's on the ground. So I mean, I know that's a problem that we see through the shop all the time, and I've put in safeties back into them before, and they are a pain to do. But yeah, I'm sure there's lots of you guys out there that have it.
A pain, second only to the safety spring and ball bearing for a PGP.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. That'd be a topic for a whole other show, is what guns have, what one problem does each gun have. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna say farewell to all of our Facebook friends. Next week on the show, our topic is going to be one of Gavin's favorites. We want to know what is the worst and most spectacular or exotic food you had at an event. As Gavin shakes his head. We talked about this last week, and I swore that we would make it a topic for you guys at home. I want to know, hot dogs on one end of the spectrum, pizza maybe taco truck on the other end, maybe Yeah, I'd like to know, because we've all had some crappy food, and I'm sure we've all had some really good stuff at some of the places we've eaten at. So, ladies and gentlemen, with that, we're going to say farewell to all of our Facebook watchers tonight. We're going to continue to record for our podcast, and we're going to continue to broadcast over on YouTube. So if you guys want to take a minute and head on over there, you can. If not, download it as a podcast. You can hear in its entirety every week by going anywhere that you get your favorite podcast. So thank you to Gavin for being on the show tonight.
Yeah, great to be here as always. I'm not looking forward to next week. But don't forget, folks, Wednesday night we're going live again for the Paintball Extravaganza show. Make sure you join us for that. Thanks for joining us.
Oh, Wednesday night. God.
That's right.
Your mic is still on, Joe.
I know. I said that as a joke.
Yeah, that's his microwave cookery class, but I think with the pandemic, he's okay. So, Joe, thank you for being on the show.
Thanks very much for having me on the show. Thanks for everyone tuning in tonight and watching. Thanks for your likes and your shares. Don't forget to tell all your friends about Behind the Bunker and its extreme level of awesomeness. Until Wednesday night for the Paintball Extravaganza show. See them. Pew pew.
And Josh, I'm not going to ask you if your headache is gone. I'm sure it's gotten worse. But thank you for sitting through our show tonight.
Much worse, yes. And
Awesome.
Thank you to all you who are watching at home.
Yeah. And ladies and gentlemen, if you want to head on over YouTube, we'll see you over there in just a minute. Otherwise, Facebookers, we'll see you guys next week.
Don't be a freeloader. If you liked what you hear, make sure to hit the share button below. Also follow us on our social media outlets like Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, ICQ, and now MySpace. If you want to join the conversation, post your comments and we might read them on the show.
So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. So welcome back to our after show for our podcast. We're live on YouTube, as you know. If you guys are listening to us on our podcast, I know there's thousands of you guys every week that do so, and you have yet to meet us. Check us out on either Facebook or on YouTube and see what we look like. See if Gavin is actually as dreamy as you picture him in your head.
More so. My mom says I'm handsome, damn it.
Super dreamy.
Yeah. While I was saying the outro, talking about the food for next week, and I won't get into it too deep because I want to save it for next week. But it reminds me that when I played at Hollywood Sports, and maybe this place still exists, I'll have to Google it. But right across the street, there was like a little tiny hole in the wall that was a Mexican family serving Mexican food, tacos and just simple stuff like that, and it was fantastic. I still think about
unusual. Bit unusual if a Mexican
for
family
California
was serving like Thai food, right?
Well,
stick with what you know.
Yes, but if you went to any Mexican restaurant in my town, it's not Mexicans, unfortunately. But
No.
yeah, Fix My Element in YouTube in the live chat says I missed the Facebook show completely. Yeah, sorry. Every Monday, ladies and gentlemen, we start at 8:05 sharp, and we're doing that on YouTube and Facebook. We interact with both live chats, so it doesn't matter where you watch us from. We're just happy that you're watching, ladies and gentlemen. So, Extravaganza happening on Wednesday night. We're going to do a live show right here, Wednesday night, starting at 8 o'clock. We have videos from Planet Eclipse and a bunch of other manufacturers, so stay tuned for that. And again, I don't know what you guys are expecting as far as new products, but I don't think you're going to see anything that's super earth-shattering, because I don't know how you'd come up with it during the middle of a pandemic anyways. I mean, how long would it take a normal, let's say you had an idea for a gun and you worked for one of the major companies. What has been the track record? About 2 years for it to come conception to market?
Probably 2 years, 18 months for sure, because we had a TMC demo and we saw it. It didn't come out for probably 2 years. You've got packaging and all kinds of probably some patents you need to go through. There's a lot of effort put into manufacturing.
Well, the Tippmann TCR, they had a 3D printed model one that Josh and I got to play with, and that would have came out a lot sooner had we not have broken it.
Yeah, probably.
But that one actually went through trials to be tested to make sure that it works. And I mean, how many major pro events do you see where there's that one or two odd gun that has tape all over it that's out on the field and people are speculating what they are, right? When was the last time you saw that? Pre-pandemic, I would say.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of really the last time you saw anybody playing.
Yeah.
So yes, research and innovation is an important part of any business, but it's been a lean couple of years for sure, right?
It has.
Businesses were, like struggling to stay alive, right? And so they had to do a lot of trimming.
Yeah.
But I think that kind of depends on who your company is and where you're set up. Like, if you look at Simon at Inception's Design, he's come up with a bunch of new stuff. But he's small enough that he's got his manufacturing shop very close to home, smaller amount of employees, and he's the guy who does the R&D.
Yeah.
Like, that's great. You've got something to the polar opposite where you got large companies can't do anything. And then you've got the smaller shops where they're pumping out all kinds of new stuff.
Well, they have no choice, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
that's true.
you know what? Yeah. What am I looking? Am I thinking, wow, it's going to be boom, big, pomp and pageantry and explosions, and here's some revolutionary new products? No, I don't. But whatever they have to offer, I'm pretty excited about seeing. Right? I'm excited about paintball for 2021 and salvaging whatever remains of the season. I know elsewhere around the world, the paintball season is still rolling on, and we hope to join you one day. But I don't think there's a whole lot going to be new and innovative. Coming out over the next couple of
But
weeks.
even with supply and demand, how are you even going to come out with a new product right now? Every industry is having a problem with some sort of supply.
Well, there's a global CCAN shortage. It's not just there's not just manufacturing anymore. Now there's a shortage of things are being produced and manufactured, but now there's a shortage getting it to market because there's no shipping containers.
I blame the tiny house people for that.
So I will definitely tune in on Wednesday at 8 o'clock because I'll be here. But yeah, I'm curious to see what the industry has, and I'm okay if there's nothing or very little. But I'll also be pleasantly surprised if there's great offerings as well.
Yeah.
So I'm okay.
Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see. I mean, coming out with anything fresh right now is gotta be hard for any manufacturer. Steven in the live chat loses me with the word tofu. He says tofu chorizo tacos. If you would have taken tofu out of that would have been delicious.
What the fire truck? Why?
Yeah.
Why?
We're not having chorizo.
Yeah.
Tofu anything.
We're not having anything tofu.
Yeah. Chorizo taco sounds good. I would be into that. I mean, good for you for eating tofu, then I don't have to, but
you'll definitely outlive me, my friend. I promise you that. But at least I'm going out with a smile.
But what's your quality of life eating tofu? You know what I mean? Like, Josh is trying to imagine it, and he's not.
So I've had tofu before. I understand how disgusting it is, and I see where you guys are coming from. But I had to Google tofu to figure out what it was. This tofu, also known as bean curd, is a food prepared by coagulating soy milk and then pressing the resulting curds into solid white bricks of disgusting nastiness. So there you go.
Yeah.
And not
even butter.
What I dislike about tofu is that it just takes the flavor of whatever it's cooked in. I'm like, just be yourself, damn it.
Yeah.
Don't be the chameleon of foods.
Well, what about tofurkey or tofurkey?
It's just as disgusting.
Here we are on food talk again. Damn it.
We are. This is dessert talk. No, I guess it's food talk.
Yeah. Whatever.
No, let's not go as far as to call tofu food.
It's like, how do you get milk from almonds and oats? That's the one. New oat milk is the craze.
Really tiny nipples that you have to milk.
Amazing.
I know this is the after show, but I'm going to leave that one alone.
How do you tell the difference between the male
oat
almonds and the female almonds?
The milk is different. Very different.
We may have to end the program on that note.
Yes.
Jeez Louise. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I can't top that. We're going to
No, please move on. We can't end like that.
No, you did it.
So,
I can't ruin the show.
Show's over.
Lisa Weaver wants to know, so tofu is soybean cottage cheese. Cottage cheese isn't even real food. I like dairy, but cottage cheese almost goes one step too far.
If I'm going to the cottage, I'm not eating that cheese.
No, cottage cheese it feels like it's one step too short. It's like someone was making something and then just kind of stopped halfway and was like, just put it in the container.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad oat milk is actually expensive because I will never spend my money on it. And for those of you that want it, you can have it.
Yeah, it's a budgetary concern for me.
So you're telling me that if it was cheaper than milk, you would go to the grocery store and go, oh, actually, this is $1 off.
I still wouldn't.
Look, I have coupons.
There's an oat milk shortage.
Extreme couponing.
Starbucks has an oat milk shortage in North America because of their oat milk beverage popularity.
Well, there's not enough oat farmers, right? So, yeah, I don't know. Ugh. Have you had oat milk like on its own? Is it like, I know there's almond milk at your house, Joe, but
almond milk tastes fine. And Meg drinks oat milk in her coffee, and she prefers oat milk over any of the other beverage. What are they? I don't know. Milk substitutes, I guess.
yeah. Well, Coffee Mate's pretty natural, right?
Well,
it's
Coffee
like
Mate is
dehydrated.
like
It's flammable, so it must be natural.
If you put Coffee Mate down on your walks in the wintertime, it actually melts the snow.
It repels mosquitoes, ants, and
ticks.
You just douse yourself in Coffee Mate.
You roll around.
Yeah, it's cheaper than lime. So when you go
What's
to
its
prison now, they
SPF
just
rating,
douse you
Gavin?
in that.
Yeah, it's about a 80 SPF factor.
Sprinkle it all over my kids this summer. Here you go, don't go in the pool for at least an hour.
Steve, he says turkey bacon with habanero syrup is delicious. No, Steve, habanero syrup is delicious. You just have to put a lot on it.
Okay, hang on a second. Turkey's good enough on its own. It doesn't need to be pressed into a bacon-ish look.
But that goes back to my point about tofu. Just be yourself.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Where would bacon
Turkey,
come
just
from
be
the
yourself.
turkey? Where in a turkey would you get bacon?
Probably turkey. It's probably just pressed in turkey breasts.
Next thing you're going to tell me is chicken nuggets is just pressed chicken.
Oh, it's mechanically separated chicken.
That stuff.
Did you ever see that video where it was like where they're making the chicken nuggets, and people were so grossed out about it because it was pink?
Yeah.
And it's like, have you people never seen raw chicken before? All raw chicken is pink. Of course, it's pink in color. They're like, that's disgusting.
So have you seen the sashimi chicken? Raw chicken?
Oh,
No.
Yeah.
out of any
Why?
meat, like pork, okay.
No idea.
Pork, chicken, steak. Chicken is the one I'm the most fearful of eating raw.
Pork.
Really?
Pork is just, and I don't want to get into it. There's so many parasites in it.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, that's why it has to be cooked properly, because there's like literally like
Yeah.
worms and shit. Yeah.
I guess you're right. I'm more paranoid about chicken. I don't know, salmonella.
I'll take that.
I'm more paranoid
Garbage
about
night.
the chicken, but like aside from bacon, we don't eat a whole lot of pork anyways.
No, pork chops. There you go,
No
my
chops?
friend. Pork chops with some applesauce, and you're all set.
No sausage?
I've never had a good pork chop in my life.
What?
All right.
No, like it's always overcooked. It's stringy. No.
No, you got to come to my house, my friend. This is the last night Josh is going to be on the show, by the way. The pork producers of Ontario have gotten to him.
This is gonna be a
Hey,
hit.
I keep them alive with the amount
That-
of bacon I purchase, so leave me alone.
that and the tofu cartel.
Yeah. Wasn't there a worldwide pork bacon shortage there for a while, like a couple of years ago?
Yeah, when I filled that freezer right there.
Oh,
You
doing
just got to go to Texas.
nice.
There's so many of them, you can't shoot. There's no limit to the amount you can shoot in one day.
Oh, feral pigs. There's a
yeah.
feral hog problem. I was reading in the paper the other day.
Massive.
There's a feral hog problem in Ontario.
There is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There should be no limits
yeah,
on
they
them,
made it
yeah.
this far. There's also a problem with iguanas in Florida now.
Yes.
So I saw that, and pythons as well, and they're trying to find
and
ways to.
Everglades.
They're trying to find ways to cook them, have tasty recipes. That way, it's more appealing for people to kill.
Tasty recipes.
Yeah, like I mean,
those-
they are experimenting
those-
with it. I promise.
I
you
know
that.
just the way you
Those
said
folk
that.
down there can make alligator taste good.
I love
alligator
gator.
tastes
I
good.
love gator.
I would
Gator's
have
amazing.
gators in the form of boots before I had it on my plate.
You would never
Oh,
eat
Todd,
gator.
it's good.
Is it?
We had gator
Yeah, I
steaks.
love
Like they
gator.
were like an inch and a half thick. It was fantastic.
I guess.
Okay.
All right. Joe's chomping
I know
at the
we
bit.
wore Joe.
Yeah, and it's not actually garbage night tonight. It's only recycling, isn't it?
It's garbage. And
Yard waste.
Yard waste
Yard
and
waste.
garbage.
Well, speaking of garbage, it's been a fantastic show.
Has it really?
No,
I spilt my drink,
all
so yes,
garbage.
it's terrible.
Great show.
Dwayne King does get the last comment of the night. He says tonight's podcast brought to you by the non-dairy dairy creamers.
Dairy.
So
That's funny.
I did this for Bab because Bab was asking, right?
There you
Ryan
go.
McGee.
There's both tiger stripes. Is he,
Oh.
he
Okay,
watching on
yeah.
YouTube right now?
Ryan McGee was. I don't know if he was or not,
No.
but you should show him.
Yeah. There
That's
you
all
go.
terrain tiger stripe.
All Train and Vietnam Tiger.
Vietnam.
Yeah.
There
Never
you
get
go.
off the boat.
Now you learned something. Forget about
There you go.
tofu. There's tiger stripe.
And for those that are just listening on the podcast, Josh held up a pair of All Train Tiger Stripe pants beside his Vietnam Tiger Stripe behind the bunker hoodie and made a comparison between the two patterns, showing the differentiation between the color palettes.
Nice. Bobby
This
Doust in the live.
segment for the visually impaired is brought to you by Paintball.
Bobby Doust gets the last comment of the night. He says, "Have you ever eaten crickets? No, but you've heard them if you've listened
Yes.
to this show, ladies and gentlemen."
Yes, I got nothing.
Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next week. Hello and welcome to Behind the Bunker. If you like tonight's show, it is turned into a podcast, and you can find hundreds of them at Apple Podcast or through Spotify or any other podcast platform in the known universe. If you want to watch tonight's show, go to YouTube and launch a search. They are all there. We release a new podcast every Monday night at 8 p.m. If you want to hit up the show, reach us by email at show@behindthebunker.com, and you can also find us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Tonight's podcast was produced by Matt